Welcome to She's Got Guts, where functional nutrition meets ancient wisdom to bring you grounded insights and practical tools for your wellness journey. Join Laura, licensed Eastern medicine practitioner and wellness wizard, and Molly, registered dietitian and gut health expert, as they unpack trends, tackle bloating, balance hormones, and help you thrive in modern womanhood without completely frickin' losing your mind. Let's do this. Okay, welcome back. If you have not listened to part one, which is a very short episode, go back and listen to that. But we are doing abdominal fat and weight loss and perimenopause. This is part two, pillar one, fiber.
Part two, pillar one, all of the good things. Fiber is fabulous, and it is Molly's it's your fiber is this, it's your thing. Yeah. Fiber and you are like besties. And I've learned honestly so much from you about fiber. I love it. I mean, the thing I think that I think is the most important when it comes to fiber in what we're talking about right now with perimenopause is that fiber is so incredibly active for your ability to upregulate and downregulate estrogen, like in your gut. There's a big old system set up in there that helps your body be able to absorb estrogen and use it as energy and fuel, combined with other systems in order to function inside of your perimenopausal body in general, which is super cool. But I want to know, you can please tell us more about that, Molly, but also I just need to know what I need to be eating in the morning that's fibery, because I sincerely do want to set the tone. And I've had some things that have been working for me and some things that are totally not working, and I can tell, and it's amazing. I want to know from a dietitian, what is it we're supposed to do?
Okay. There are a couple things that happen in terms of fiber. Sometimes when I say fiber, people think a fiber gummy. They think Benefiber or Metamucil. We're not going to really go into those here today necessarily. We might, but that's not what I mean when I say fiber. Those are fiber supplements. So that would be the distinction. What I mean when I say fiber, first fiber supplement, is actual fibers. So fiber is made of starch, and it is a component of plants, so fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and beans. All of those things really are plants. But when we look at it, there's a million different things that it does. And we'll talk about this more and more and more every once in a while, because there's different ways to address fiber. But for the purposes of this discussion, we want to talk about fiber for weight loss and abdominal fat. And so your question about breakfast, first reason we would want to eat fiber at breakfast is because maybe we're having a breakfast that is higher in carbohydrates. Generally, that's what people do. For weight loss, not necessarily what I recommend. I would recommend you definitely need carbohydrates at every meal. But you want your plate to look like a quarter of it is carb, starch, whatever, quarter is protein, and then half of it is colorful produce. That's going to be the best road to go down for weight loss, because you're going to be full. Fiber creates more, maybe you've seen a picture of the stomach that's filled with fruits and vegetables versus the stomach that's filled with olive oil. And the same amount of calories of fruits and vegetables fills your entire stomach versus it's like a teaspoon of olive oil. Because these things, in Weight Watchers, they call them free foods. And we also say that they are non-starchy vegetables, a lot of the non-fruits that aren't corn and peas. But in reality, what fiber does is it creates a gel in our small intestine, and that gel pulls out extra glucose or cholesterol or anything else that we don't really want to go into the bloodstream out with our bowel movement, versus just having a piece of white toast or like a banana bread. I guess a banana bread's a bad example because there is fiber in there, but like a piece of white toast or like a
donut,
cupcake. Yes, for breakfast, a cupcake.
Hey, it might be your birthday. Maybe you need a cupcake in the morning. I don't know.
I need a cupcake right now. So the fiber is going to help to prevent, it's like a magic carpet for your blood sugar. And it's going to
I like
help to
that.
pull out that extra glucose that may be getting in. And that's one of the ways that it stabilizes your blood sugar. So we've got two things happening. It's making us feel more full, and it's the magic carpet creates the gel that is pulling out some extra sugar so that that doesn't go straight into our bloodstream, into our cells, and in excess then be stored as either visceral or abdominal fat, really depending on the type of sugar, but also how it's absorbed. So I think that it's interesting to see that. So we're controlling our calories. One of the things that I like to do at breakfast and at every meal is have some kind of bean. So, maybe it's a tofu scramble. Um, like adding some tofu in with eggs if you like eggs. I don't, so I just do tofu, but that would be my bean for breakfast. Or I don't really actually like breakfast foods, so it's not going to be great for me to explain what I normally eat.
What about people who are having like this is one that I really go back and forth with is oatmeal, because everyone's like, it's so great for you. It's great for cholesterol. It's high in fiber, so on and so on. Yet I can literally tell that my heart starts racing after I eat
Yeah.
oatmeal.
What kind
And
of
when I
oatmeal
was
are you
testing
eating?
I'm eating steel cut oats.
Okay.
And they have, I mean, you know me, I like my fat on things. So I've got like a bunch of butter on there. We've got
Mm-hmm.
Adam's peanut butter in the house right now because that's the one that everybody loves. So I threw that on there. I put in egg on there,
Mm-hmm.
Himalayan pink salt. I mean, I set myself up for success, and it's still like
What's the portion size of the oatmeal?
I would say
Like the
when
size
it's
of your
cooked,
fist?
maybe like a quarter to somewhere between a quarter and a half a cup kind of thing. I tried not to
Is
do
it
too much of it.
okay? So you may just be one of those people that
Hmm.
metabolizes it a little differently.
Yeah.
But if it's one egg, that's only 7 grams of protein. And like a
Hmm.
bunch of butter, what, a tablespoon? Like that's not, well, with the peanut butter. So you're doing good for the fat. So the thing
Yeah.
that
There's a lot of
peanut
fat.
butter and egg in the same thing?
Yeah, it's good. It's like a salty, savory deliciousness. I love it.
Okay.
I wish you
Well,
guys
that, I
could
mean,
see
that's
Molly's face right
fantastic.
now. She doesn't think it's delicious.
I'm just not I'm not really a breakfast person, but also that's just, in the morning, that feels like a lot going on for me. If
Well,
I could
it's
eat
nice
like a
because we
piece
can
of
make the steel cut
plastic, I
oats.
would.
Yeah. Well, we can make the oats early and then I can warm them up. Like my
I
one
get it.
son likes them and
Hmm.
he burns through it differently, I think. But when I did a continuous glucose monitor back in the day, I would
Hmm.
put oat milk in my super cube and my blood sugar was spiking and I was like, "No.
Well,
That is
that's a good
not what
example
super
of
cube
fiber.
does."
That's a good
But that
example of what fiber does, though,
yeah.
because oat milk is the oats without any fiber.
Yes.
So that's going to affect your blood much differently than the fiber from the
Mhm.
steel cut oats. And just for everybody, to give everyone a visual, a steel cut oat is an oat. That's how the oat normally grows. Rolled
Mhm.
oats, the metal, smooth metal thing that paves the road,
Mhm.
basically they put steel cut oats down, they roll that thing over them, and those are rolled oats. It cuts the cooking time down, it breaks up some of that harder shell, and it makes them easier, obviously, to consume and bake with. And because you can't bake with steel cut oats, they would still be a rock like after the baking
Mhm.
was done. Instant oatmeal is we take the rolled oats and basically put them in a blender. And the fiber content of each is different because in each stage, more of the fiber gets removed. And so when something like think about a brown rice, that's the rice with the bran shell. White rice is the
Mhm.
white rice once they've removed that bran shell. It's got to
Mhm.
take like so much. Like, how do they do it? I don't know. But,
I know, it's weird.
and same
Don't
with
they
whole
bleach
wheat
it? I thought there was some
versus
bleaching happening.
to make it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, but usually, yes. With
Mm.
white rice, though, I don't know if there's bleaching happening. Anyway,
Oh, I thought that was part of the process. Maybe not.
definitely
I don't
for
know.
flour.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Mhm.
That because the whole wheat is that the bran and the endosperm are on the outside, and then they pull all that out. They pull the inside out and just use that for white flour. So
Yeah.
it's like anything has like a shell on it, and then we can get smaller and smaller amounts with less and less fiber. So the closer we get to the inside, the less fiber we have on it. So for oat milk, all of that is gone, and it's just like
Gone.
flavor of the
Sugar
oat
water.
mixed with water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're
It's
not going
sugar
to call
water.
it sugar water because it does have still some minerals in it and some vitamins in it that sugar does not. It's not an added sugar. So it's not going to be like this super, because cane sugar even is, sugar cane is super fibrous. And
Mm-hmm.
to get crystallized granulated sugar, it's just processed like crazy. But I
Yeah.
would call like apple juice sugar water. I would call
Mm-hmm.
cran grape cocktail sugar water, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it oat milk. But that's just my opinion.
So is there anything that has fiber stripped away is most likely going to have some little vitamins and minerals left over in it, which is why they say that these juice things are good. But it's how these without fiber are behaving in our body, how they're spiking the blood sugar, and how fiber is
Right.
so good to be able
Yeah,
to like nail it down.
because it's the magic carpet that pulls
Mm-hmm.
out, right? Creates that gel. So it's going to pull out the extra. But for you, I mean, there's a lot of things that could be happening in that case,
Yeah.
but you probably just need more
Yeah.
protein. You should try it with 2 eggs.
My Paula, but it's all I know, but I'm sensitive to eggs. Anyway, what about
So
soluble
the
and
whole thing might just not
insoluble?
be working for you.
I know.
um,
I know. I was like, maybe this just isn't my jam. But today I did somebody left some croissant bread at our house, which I've never
ooh,
had before, which by the way
ooh,
is so friggin' delicious. I did that with butter and
mm-hmm,
hummus and an
mm,
avocado and an
okay.
egg and then lettuce on top of it. And that
And that was
settled
fine.
just fine. That was totally
Yeah.
fine. So I don't know if
Well,
maybe
and
just
that's
oats
way
are
more
just,
of a
I just
simple
rip
carb,
right through them.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
I know. Whatever. We find what
Okay.
works and what doesn't, and we just go with it. But I want to know
Yes.
the difference between soluble and insoluble. And does it
Okay.
really matter if we're trying to lose abdominal weight?
Soluble fiber is like a squishy, soft, like pectin is a soluble fiber. So fruit, it's the easier, softer kinds of things, and there are different
Like
forms.
lettuce and spinach and stuff, right? Aren't those soluble?
Those would be soluble. Yep.
Like they break
Let me
down
see.
easily. They don't create a lot of gooey stuff. They're
Yeah.
not gooey.
And so it's almost like when we were just talking about the bran and the germ, soluble fiber will dissolve in water. It's water soluble.
Yes.
And that forms that gel like substance. And that's kind of what we were just talking about. Insoluble fiber does not dissolve. Now, most things that have insoluble fiber also have soluble fiber. So you're going to get that gel
Ooh,
either way.
hot tip. It's not one or the other. Okay,
No,
okay.
like
I see
psyllium
you,
husk
Molly.
is
This is why
mostly
you're the fiber queen.
insoluble, but yeah,
Okay.
it's still gonna have some. Insoluble fiber is more like a brush. So we've got a gel and a brush. Insoluble fiber is
Ooh.
not going to break down. It's just going to come out. So it's going to scrape or gently sweep things out of. That's why that company was so brilliant with their colon broom as their, because that's kind of what I think about is like a broom
Yeah.
going through your
Yeah.
intestines. But that's just overpriced psyllium husk, and you don't need to buy it just because it has a cute
No.
name. And you should just eat it anyway. You don't have to buy a fiber supplement. But the point that you are asking me, there's just so much, just so much, is
I know.
soluble
Seriously.
fiber is more likely to be gentle on your stomach in smaller amounts, especially, and it's more than insoluble fiber. So think about it like an apple in the skin. We've got soluble of the apple, insoluble of the skin. Think about like a sunflower seed. You know, the soft part is soluble, the harder part is insoluble. So when you think about it like that, you can kind of start to think in your brain what's what and what's going to create more of a. So I like to think of it as fiber that's good for diarrhea or fiber that's good for constipation, although both are good for constipation. All of that to say, in the morning, you've got to have fiber because it's going to set the tone for the day. We're talking about abdominal fat and weight loss here, dang it. And that means that
exactly
we
right.
want to feel full, and we've got to eat within an hour of waking up to stoke our digestive fire. I do not want to. But really, that
I
is
know it's
how
hard.
it really is hard. And if you're
It
in a fight
usually
or flight
takes
at
like a
all,
couple of weeks, right? Like
yeah,
if you force yourself to do something about, it's usually like a week or 2 weeks in that your body will wake up and be like, okay, I'm ready for whatever you were giving me. I'm going to show you some actual digestive hunger signs. Like I'm going to have an appetite. Otherwise you probably won't.
right. Well, and it's circadian aligned eating. So, we think about weight loss. Well, that's why shift workers have more abdominal fat and more issues losing weight because they're not aligned with the circadian rhythm of the sun. So, of course, if we want to really maximize that, we want to
Mhm.
support our body's natural rhythm and increase our sensitivity to insulin, which is the key that unlocks the cell and lets that glucose in so that we can use it. So we'll talk about that in the blood sugar one, but in the morning, if you eat fiber, you're going to feel more full. You are
Mhm.
going to have more energy. You're not going to be in that fight or flight. So you're not going to be as snacky or as kind of like jumpy or as
I need
unfocused.
something. I need. Like
Yes,
you're just
right.
standing, like you are found, you're in the middle of work and you found yourself all of a sudden standing in front of the snack cabinet and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? What is really going on? Like it's an unconscious pull towards depletion. Like you have a feel of
Right.
depletion and you want it to feel full.
And you're just never, I mean, yeah, some women feel great when they intermittent fast, but if you want to do that, it should really be in the evening, starting in the evening,
Hmm.
not in the
Yeah.
morning for
Yeah.
the best results. Because women, we just, to help recycle our hormones and all of that. Fiber also really, every single color has a different nutrient, even white, zeaxanthin. And those are
Hmm.
all polyphenols and phytochemicals. And though each one of those is doing a different job to combat free radical inflammation, right? So we
Right.
want to bring all of that down, and we do that by getting all the colors of the rainbow. That's another way that we can get rid of visceral fat is by combating inflammation. And, talking about visceral fat, which again is in part one, but that's the fat that surrounds your organs. Cruciferous vegetables specifically, the sulforaphane in them helps to break down and remove visceral fat. So broccoli, Brussels, cauliflower, kale, cabbage, those are all super beneficial for your liver. And you talk about that a lot with Chinese medicine, right? Don't we have like that bitter
Just
arc red?
please like squash them and crunch them and eat them room temp or slightly steamed or something. Cause man,
Not
those can
raw.
be hard to rot and ripe through. You can eat
Mm.
them raw if you're like very vigorous with your digestion and you just have one of those constitutions. But a perimenopausal body is usually not that constitution
Correct.
fully. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, like I don't love raw broccoli anyway,
Oh
or
no,
raw
it's so
Brussels sprouts.
intense. Unless it's like the 4th of July and that's the only thing that's green on the whole barbecue or
Mhm.
the whole picnic platter. And you're like, I guess I'll put that in some ranch to get some greens real quick. That's all I got.
And this is coming out the week after Memorial Day, so we're coming up on 4th of July. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Other ways to get fiber in the morning. Chia pudding. Chia is both
Hmm.
soluble and insoluble because of the outside and
Yes.
the inside. That is
I'm so
not a
excited,
good
Molly.
source of
That was going to
protein.
be my next one. I was going to make 7
Hmm.
jars with chia
Okay.
and I was actually going to do half milk and half nut milk or soy milk or
Okay.
bean milk or whatever. I was going to do half and half so
Oh,
I get a
bean
little more
milk.
fat. Well,
Yep.
cashews a
Mm.
nut, so and
Yeah, yeah.
soy is a bean. So, and I've been doing
Yes.
more soy lately just to mix up my
Okay.
nuts or mix up my
Good.
milks. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I don't know. I like the
I like
mix it up. I
flax
think
a
it's good.
lot.
My favorite is hemp, but holy bananas, it's expensive. Hemp
Mm,
milk? Holy fuck.
dang.
I just put the seeds on everything instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and chia pudding is also great with Greek yogurt. Greek
Mm.
yogurt's about 14 grams of protein per 6 ounces. Or you could do, yeah, like nuts, but nuts aren't the best source of protein. And so that's the other thing that we really do need in the morning. We need some kind of carbohydrate, certainly. So that can come from fruit, and that can be your fiber and your carb, or beans, that can be your fiber and your carb. But we do also need protein because that's another balancing element that is going to feed our brain, keep us full, and keep us stable and reducing those cravings. And you'll find once you start eating a fiber rich breakfast that you will not be craving sweets as much as at night.
No.
So,
Mm-mm.
all of these things are going to lead to weight loss, especially in the
Yes.
abdomen.
All in the long run. All of them in the long run. So can I do a little more of a dive with the carb and the fiber thing? Because I
Hmm.
know now that I have this a little more weight on me with the perimenopause that I'm thinking about carbohydrates differently while I'm trying to also think about fiber.
Hmm.
And are there some good takeaways that people can think about with when you look at a food for its carb and fiber content? Do we want to look at it with more fiber so it's not spiking the blood sugar? Or like, how do we sift through that in a way that doesn't make us feel like, oh no, I'm only eating a bowl of carbs that's going to spike my blood sugar and I'm going to get fat? How do I do that?
Yeah. But I guess I never really answered your question about oatmeal. Steel cut oats going to have the highest fiber content, and everyone is going to have a different situation, but you've got to pair it with enough protein. Now, when you're
Yeah.
looking at a
What is enough
carbohydrate,
protein? What is that? What's enough
20, at least
protein?
20 grams.
So that looks
So
like
that's
that
7,
can't really
14,
be. A lot
21,
of
three
people do
eggs,
that with like, yeah. So people are doing usually like
one egg,
fruit and nuts and maybe some sort of like powder, some
right?
like kitschy something or other. Like
Hmm.
what's ideal here? You said 3 eggs. That's a lot of eggs.
3 eggs is 21 grams. You could also do like 2 eggs and some like a little yogurt parfait with fruit if you wanted to do that. Or,
Okay.
like chia pudding has like 5 grams, an egg
Okay.
has 7. So you could do 2 eggs and some chia pudding. And
Mhm.
then you've got your fiber, right, in there.
Mhm.
You can certainly do like I make my own chicken nuggets and I like to do that. I'll also make my own turkey sausage, like little turkey burger patties kind of with a little bit
Ooh,
of
that's a great
sage and a lot of
idea.
black pepper. And then I just heat them up in the air
Mm.
fryer. So I'll make a big batch, freeze them, and then just heat them up in the air fryer. And then I don't have any preservatives or any of
Oh
that.
my God. Will you please link the recipe to that in our show notes? Because I'm going to go to it. I want to make that right
Okay.
now.
I'll make it. I'll make the recipe and then I'll link it. And the other thing is going to be that 3 ounces of animal protein is 28 grams. So we see grams a lot, but then protein is really
All
measured
animal
in
protein?
ounces.
All of it.
Pretty much.
Chicken,
Yeah.
beef, pork,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, like some of it's 30,
What's that,
some of
like a
it's
handful?
25, but
Is that like
yeah,
a
size of your
like a
palm or
handful?
a deck of cards. Yeah. So there you
That's
go.
so funny. That's totally aligned with traditional Chinese medicine. That's what they say. Like,
Really?
what to get enough? Yeah, to have like a 2 to 3 ounces of meat like every day is really kind of, well, they say like all you need, but they're also having the diet
A
is
lot of
also rich in a
beans.
lot of like
Yeah.
legumes and just
Because you
lots of
need,
veggies and
and
things.
if anybody ever says that you need 1 ounce of protein per pound of body weight, that's how you can spot a faker. Because we would never use pounds to calculate your nutrient needs. We use kilograms only, always. So
Hmm.
anybody who uses pounds does not understand
Well,
true nutrition
if
calculations.
you just were using pounds as like a reference point, what would it be if you could say like always if you were
Half.
using kilograms, it'd be half of your body weight.
We'll
Okay.
say half, but that's going to be wrong.
Because that's a lot of
So it's
mathing,
kilograms.
Molly.
You can just say, how many hey, Chad, how many kilograms do I weigh?
I know here in the US we're dumb when it comes to kilograms.
It's 2.2 kilograms per
Oh, that's
pound.
right.
So,
It's a little bit more.
but that point 0.2 over like 200 pounds really does actually make a significant difference for
Yeah.
each one, right? So it is going to be more than half, slightly more than half, I could say. So if you weigh
Hmm.
200 pounds, then you would want to eat, well, but anyway, I don't want to do that. So we're going to, because the actual calculation is grams per kilogram and it's around 1. So, yeah, because like
Yeah.
now in the US it's 1.2, but it was zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8.
Uh-huh.
So we could say 1. So if you weighed 200 pounds, so all you have to do, guys, is just
It's just listen to Molly
200
think
divided by
out loud for a
2.2.
second.
Okay, that's 90 kilograms. So 90 grams of protein. That's not too bad. And
Okay.
that will, so anyway, we want to split that up. I mean, no matter who you are, you do want like around 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. I know like these Chipotle bowls and some of these drinks have like 50, 60
Hmm.
grams of protein in them. You can't
Yeah.
digest all of that. Like there's a digestibility range and score. So it would be more cost effective for you to split that over 2 meals first of all. But second of all, for your body, you're only absorbing half of it anyway, and you're just going to
Yeah.
poop the rest out. And we want you to maximize the calories that you eat so that you feel satiated and so that you can
Mm.
use them all to create muscle and strong bones and all of that, right?
Yeah.
But in summary, what other questions do you have?
Well, so I like the idea of like, eggs with veggies in the morning. Like what's a good way to get veggies in the morning? Cuz those are great
Well, there's no
fiber and
carbs in
people
that
want to
meal.
eat them without
I didn't answer your
having.
question.
Yeah. Oh, I think you did.
Okay. No, I didn't,
I
because you
think
said
you
how
did.
many
I
carbs
just
should I
feel
eat?
like, well, when, people have this whole like Weight Watchers in the 90s thoughts, and they're like, vegetables are free foods, and they have all this, they're great for my digestion and all the things. Like, how do I work vegetables in the morning without just eating a salad?
Right. So you can do a scramble with bell peppers and that kind of thing, bell pepper and
Mm-hmm.
onion, or an omelet or something like that. You can do an avocado toast with tomato. Um, you can
That's what I
do
was missing
fruit.
on mine this morning was
hmm
tomato. Fuck, that would have been good.
You can do fruit. Like, you don't have to just eat vegetables. And there are two kinds of carbs, complex and simple. Fruit
Mm-hmm.
really is a complex carb because it has fiber and nutrients in it. And like
Mm-hmm.
all of those whole grains that we just talked about are complex carbs. So they're harder to break down and they take longer to break down, which means they're not going to rush to your blood and spike it up the same way that a piece of candy or a Wonder Bread would. With your breakfast of eggs and vegetables, I
Mm-hmm.
would recommend either adding some fruit, adding some whole grain toast, or, like quinoa.
Love these ideas. It's making me realize that I kind of, I think when people think about breakfast, and I know we're spending a lot of time on this breakfast thing, but I honestly feel like it is a really good thing
Yeah,
to really break down because it is
sure.
so essential about setting the tone for the day for digestion. And it kind of makes me feel like I just need to reframe my entire thinking about breakfast, that breakfast isn't going to be in one hand in a bowl. It needs to be almost like your dinner plate. And I talk to people about this a lot. Like, let's reverse your calorie intake. Let's not have food after 7, 8 p.m. as opposed to not
Right.
having food before 12, which probably worked when you were menstruating regularly, but maybe now that things are a little more chaotic, that doesn't work as well. And
hmm
so having that morning time, the woman that shares space with me where I practice acupuncture is Japanese, and she sometimes will post these breakfasts that she's eating, and it's like miso soup and a little fresh salad with some stuff on it, and then like some rice with some like some sort of slow cooked meat, and like another thing on this, like a little bit of tofu on the side. And I'm like, holy bananas, I want to be at your house for breakfast. But what's great about that is that has everything that we were just talking about. But here in the
hmm
US, we've been trained to have one thing in your hand really quickly, get it down. And honestly, I'm going to go on a slight tangent here, but if any of y'all have not watched or read about Dr. Kellogg, have you read any of his stuff or watched any of the movies?
Yeah,
I
it's
went
so interesting.
It's so wild. Like, there was two
Yeah.
brothers, the Kellogg brothers, and they started this empire, and it really was about getting one of them. It was about getting a lot of fiber in you. That was the whole
hmm
point, and getting fiber
Right.
in you quickly, which is hilarious
hmm
because they're the ones that ended up rolling the oats and stripping all the fiber and all of the things.
hmm
But and now they're kind of the foundation of this quick breakfast we're talking about. But it's making me realize that I do need to go to bed a little earlier to be able to wake up a little earlier to have a more diverse breakfast where I can have 2 eggs with a little bit of greens with my chia pudding on the side or whatever. Like, today was great. My blood sugar feels great and I feel satiated and whatever, but I can't do that every morning when I got to get 2 kids out of the house. Like, it's really hard. It's not that I'm lazy and I'm not making that for myself. It's sometimes there's just not enough time.
So in that case, what you do is you eat the part that you can hold in your hand, like the chia pudding, to stoke your
Mhm.
metabolic fire. And then when
Yeah.
you're done dropping them off and you get to the office, then have the other
Mhm.
half, right? So
Yeah.
that could be, you're probably not going to bring eggs to the office, but if you did, maybe hard boiled eggs. It could
Sure.
also be like a Greek yogurt parfait, or, some kind of, like, again, you could do little turkey sausage or a salad with some chickpeas or quinoa, or
Mhm.
even like a nice fruit bowl with nuts. But making, and a protein shake if it's got to be, like, I'm thinking about at the office. But there are
Yeah.
so many different there's a broad spectrum of
Mm-hmm.
things that can be done because a lot of like GI people can't eat in the morning. Like a lot of my clients have a really hard time. They're
Right.
nauseous or they're feeling uncomfortable. So it's
Yeah.
just having a little something, rice cake and peanut butter, or,
Mm-hmm.
something to just kind of get things going and cushion because we have a lot of like stomach acid and digestive juices that we want to settle down. That's one of the reasons
Mm-hmm.
why you don't feel well in the morning. And once
Yeah.
you eat something, you tend to get more of an appetite. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that that's the important part is we don't have to have this two-course breakfast every morning and get up an
It sounds
hour
so good
early
though.
for it. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do like make ahead freezer bean burrito
Mm-hmm.
and then do eggs and black beans and then throw an avocado in there on your way
Yeah.
out the door. Like heat it up in
I
the air
really
fryer
like the
and go.
idea of breaking. Yeah, I love the idea of kind of breaking that up. Like I wake up and I'll
Yeah.
have cube right away and I'll get the drop
Hmm.
off done and then I come home and have like well water and then cube. Usually some supplements that I'm need in there, but then I'll come home and then I'll have like food. So I like the idea of breaking that up a little bit more. That's a good idea for those busy folks. Just because you had that
So
one thing doesn't mean you can't supplement it 30 minutes later with the rest of it.
And like, there's so much, it's like we've been brainwashed to think that all of our decisions are wrong, even from this conversation, right? Like,
Right.
even from this conversation, people will take away, like, oh, I may as well just eat a donut because I'm not getting salad and eggs like Laura, or I'm not making my own
Mm,
turkey sausage like Molly. Like, no, just eat
no.
whatever you want, but try to put some effort into it like once a week so that you have things prepared. Like you said, you're going to make some chia pudding in advance. Chia pudding, very easy to make. Um,
Oh God, so easy. As long as you have jars.
and if it needs to be a protein shake, like that, it's easy. Like I still think you should always have something to chew because,
Hmm.
a smoothie usually does kind of not satisfy you in the same
Hmm.
way. But you could roast some chickpeas and bring those and fruit and baby kale
Yeah.
smoothie to the office with some Greek
Yeah.
yogurt in it, and it's gonna be delicious.
Handful of carrots. Boom. That's
Yeah.
chewing.
So something there are ways around everything, and I think that the important conversation that we're having here is
Hmm.
it's not just like carbs, it's not just protein, it's not just fiber. It's the balance of all of them and
Yeah.
really thinking about, but we'll talk about this in the blood sugar one, but you have to have carbohydrates at every meal because you're going to have
Hmm.
carbohydrates at some meal. So whatever
Hmm.
meal you have not had them at, you're just
Hmm.
spiking your blood sugar more when you do have them.
Hmm.
And to me, that is going to be more of a metabolic issue over time than if you just ate a small amount of carbs at every meal. And by small amount, I mean at least 15 grams, preferably more like 30, because your body needs 150 grams a day. So if that's your limit and that's all you can do, fine. But like I work with people who think that they eat plenty of carbs and then they track for one day and it's 70 grams. And I'm like, you eat
Hmm.
no carbs.
Whoa.
And yeah, so we can't have
Hmm.
that. And that was one thing. That's the biggest thing, the commonality that I see in people. And again, we'll get into
Hmm.
this later, but things that used to work that don't work anymore are
Yeah.
restrict eating less and then
Yeah.
eliminating carbs. Everyone thinks that that's going to do it. Well, I mean, if it did,
Hmm.
you wouldn't be listening still.
Boom. Boom said that. She dropped the Fiber Queen dropped the mic on that one. I love it. Oh, Molly, this
And
was great. I learned a lot. I learned that you
yay,
don't have to first of all stress out about it. You don't have
never.
to, you can break it up and do what works for you. Just be mindful for variety and color and do whatever you can that works for your lifestyle to get things in. And something is better than nothing. Probably we'll just
Right.
exclude sugar and donuts and all that sort of stuff, but something is better than nothing. And always have super cube in your coffee because that'll help a lot too.
Always. And there are
Always.
like lots of fiber can double team. Like avocado is healthy fat and good fiber.
Mhm.
Fruit is healthy complex carbs and good fiber. Corn, green peas have a lot of protein in them.
I like green peas. You'll see those in protein powders a lot. Pea and the vegan
Mhm.
ones have a lot of pea protein.
Yeah, I like green peas.
Yeah.
And they're very high in
Mhm.
fiber as well. So just knowing that there are things that you can do that double time it And when you first start paying, and the most important thing about fiber, as you eat more and more, you have to increase your water consumption or you'll create a cement-like substance and never poop again.
Yeah. Yeah. And you might be a little bit bloated when you first start too. So be mindful that amongst the perimenopausal bloat, maybe back off, maybe kind of look at what you're like, oh, I tried that and it made me super bloated. So I'm going to maybe just try half as much next time, maybe up the protein or the fat or the carb around it so that it can function a little better with the different food components around it. A little more complete.
Yes.
I love it.
Love it. Okay,
so
Molly,
you're the best with the fiber business.
Thank you so much for listening. We offer personalized support to clients in many ways and would love to work with you. Reach out to Laura at Lala's Wellness and Molly at Women's Gut Health for more information. Unlock your full health and hormone potential with Super Q, Boom Bomb, and Best Tea. Check out the link in the show notes for more. See you next Saturday.